fucking waste. A generation thrown away. Victories measured in inches, bodies hanging on the wire. In ordered lines they ordered us to walk into the sights of waiting guns.
Well, I think if you look at people in power who have not wanted to share their power, whether it is women getting the right to vote, or women being ordained, or civil rights movement, or gay people, it's always the same argument. And you have to make up names for them, call them loose, call them bitches, call them bags, to make them not real, so then you can feel justified in the oppression. And then there's things like making them over-sexualized black men. They'll rape our women, and or using the diseases. Gay people will spread AIDS, and then that's still the same argument they're starting to use for illegal immigrants.
It is incompatible with Christian teaching. However, each person is of sacred worth and value, and so while the homosexual community is welcome in the church, we do not allow homosexuals to be in the clergy.
No one would have ever heard or cared about Matt, except the fags and the fag media immediately latched onto it, trying to make him some big fag martyr, to promote the fag lifestyle, to publish propaganda to say that it's okay to be gay, teach all the children in the nation that you can live like the devil and there's no consequence. We say that Matt is in hell, and we carry this sign because this nation sees it as fags are so mistreated. That helps them promote the idea that it's just an innocent alternate lifestyle, because these people exalt him as some kind of hero, some kind of martyr.
We are going to do our business regardless of what's going on the other side of the street here. Our focus is to remain professional and academic in nature. This is a learning experience, not an adversarial experience. Okay, so we want to be positive and do our thing regardless of what's going on in front of us over here. Okay? Let's raise some money for the Matthew Shepard Foundation.
Tirelessly on Hate Crimes Prevention Act. Like, the Matthew Shepard Hate Crimes Prevention Act was pivotal in my life because I have been a victim of a hate crime. Like, I wanted protection for
having it so that individuals can get the proper health care that they need and the proper support that they need, preventing people from committing suicide, from falling into depressions, from not really fulfilling living up to who they are. And it's not just for the trans community. I really hope that my message just really has people look deep down inside themselves and just honor who they are as an individual and take a lot of pride in it.
In a sociology class, I interviewed young 20-something gay men, and one of the 10 or 12 questions I asked them was, have you ever been verbally abused? And all of them had. And one guy had to postpone his meeting with me because the night before he got beat up. And when he showed up with 2 black guys, and that was in Aggieville. And that was just 2 or 3 years ago.
Like, what earth are we really leaving for our kids? Is it one that we can actually survive in?
Having a goal focus as an activity is a great one to brainstorm. And there was this Earth Day idea, which obviously I'm going to be biased towards it being an environmentalist, but I still think that the aspect of Earth can be applied to everyone in this room.
They still want to consume like Americans. They still want to be Americans and just have everything at any time and do whatever they want. And then they don't see how that conflicts with the religious ideas when it clearly does. And then they just selectively pick passages to back up these lifestyles that they want.
I've always played a major role in the church, and a lot of churches still won't ordain women, but they'll let them teach Sunday school, they'll let them go off to be missionaries, they'll sure take their
lot of people who were politically active on campus, people who were in the women's groups, like women's rights groups, women's activist group, like those sorts of things, lived in the women's studies house. Like, these are the kind of people I was in a sorority with. And so it wasn't your typical, I guess, what people think of here as a sorority is not really what I experienced.
Yeah.
It was much smaller. I was much closer to the people in it, and through them, we did fundraising for Hurricane Katrina, and we did volunteer work at the women's clinic.
So I had a mom who, when I was a teenager, told me that she'd been married before my dad, which completely shocked me because I grew up in this house where my parents were always together. My mom stayed at home, my dad worked, and it was a secure world. And she told me that her husband beat her, and I thought, his husband beat my mom, and it made me a feminist.
But sometimes that's hard to continue to answer the call when you are encountering barrier after barrier after barrier. After a while, you start to question, is God really calling me to do it? And then sometimes you just think, really, God, is it really what you want me to do to continue the fight? That's a big challenge in many different ways, be it trying to get into the ministry or other areas of life.
Make the world a better place, but really just make K-State a better place first. It's the idea of thinking globally and acting locally. What can we do as members of K-State, as student leaders on this campus, so that people down the road that inherit us, whether it's our children or just the next generation of K-Staters, can live a little bit better and
each other. And it's not just going to be one religion that's saved in the end. It's going to be the people who actually, if there is heaven and hell, the people who actually cared about other people and worked for good, not the people who just believed some religious doctrine and then just followed it blindly without ever questioning themselves or ever wondering what they're doing and the effect of what they're doing. What is that actually happening? What effect is that actually having?
It means to not be passive about your beliefs. It means to be very passionate, to not just show that passion to your family and your friends, but to show that to other people and to really convey, why you believe in what you do and why you want to do what you do. What concerns you enough